I'm Tricia Benn, CEO of C-Suite Network and your host of Selling Power TV on C-Suite Network, bringing you a lineup of incredible speakers and experts from Sales 3.0. Just wait and stay tuned with us. Now on Selling Power TV, we have Roderick Jefferson, CEO of Roderick Jefferson and Associates. Roderick, I am so thrilled to be here with you.
Absolutely honored. Thank you for having me.
You know, I keep saying how thrilled I am. I can't help it because it's just so exciting to have these different conversations, and the power and impact of them is unmistakable. And getting to know you and understanding your story, I just can't wait to be able to ask you how you take the personal challenges that we all face in life, different times, different circumstances, but we all face them, and then have them really help us to deliver on our performance.
You know, first of all, great question. And it's something I think about a lot because after spending 30 years in corporate, I think I may have run into this once or twice. And I think there's always an opportunity, first of all, and I've always been a perpetual learner. So I take these as opportunities to learn and also to share those. I would say I give to give. So I take from that, even when things are difficult for me, I always figure there's either a gift for me or a lesson for someone else.
There's power in being able to, process, right? If you're processing it in a way that it becomes a gift to somebody else. I fell straight into this pothole. Perhaps I can help you avoid
Absolutely.
that pothole.
So you don't break that ankle the way that I did.
Right. And time is money. Timing is really about the success of our businesses. So I know that you have gone through some really extraordinary experiences, though. So I'd love for you to share with us, when you're working with people, how do you use those experiences, those understandings, maybe even awakenings? And I think through life, we sort of have these different stages of awakenings or understandings. How do you use those to apply that in terms of the success of your clients?
As a brief overview, I had a stroke a couple of years ago. And so the way that I use it is things have changed for me. I think I have now been allowed and blessed to be far more human and far more authentic. And I've taken that mask off and lowered the wall to where it's never about presentations. It's about conversations now.
Wow. That's so powerful. You know, if that was one pothole we could take away from everyone, we'd do that pretty darn quickly, wouldn't we?
I think so. And I think, it is lowest compound. And I relish the fact that I'm not a complex person. Just a simple guy from Texas that's trying to make it in this world like everyone else. And so I bring things down to its smallest minutia. And to me, there's never been a time where leading with integrity, humanity, EQ, and data has meant more than it does today. And so when you can remember, people buy from people. If I trust you, I'll engage you. If I engage you, I will buy from you. And so if you really want to make success of your career, life, etc., just remember, stop selling, start helping.
Start serving.
It's amazing how much changes.
Right. So that whole perspective is very closely tied to the whole notion of resiliency. And resiliency, there was a time when it just meant being resilient. But now there's a sort of preciousness. I frequently will say, I'm not a precious person. Please just tell me what it is that you're working through, so I can be useful, I can be helpful. But how are you thinking about resiliency, and how are you helping people to understand what it means and how they can really benefit from it in making the pivots they need to make quickly?
Well, I think it's about first focusing on the long play. And fortunately and unfortunately, we're in a Instagram, TikTok mentality where I need everything right now. And so I go back to the old adage, you can either do things fast or you can do it right, but you can't do both. So when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, which do you want? Do you want it right or do you want it fast? Because we can do it either direction. But, and most of the time, of course, let's do it right. We should probably slow down a little bit. I go, great. Then let's figure out together, where does the end state look? And then let's reverse engineer. So resiliency, I see the same way. I've got to get out of or I've got to get into. One of the two, right? And you figure out which that is Is it that I'm trying to decrease pain, or am I trying to increase productivity and efficiency? And both of those require resiliency. It's just a different attachment that it takes to get to that level. And when you figure out what it is, then, as I said, you can start reverse engineering.
So, Roderick, can you give us a specific example where you just thought, okay, this scenario, you're dive bombed into it because, you're fixing things, correct? Primarily?
Of sort, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see I'm helping and not fixing, I hope.
Oh, okay, there we go, helping. But the thing is, people don't take vitamins, they take painkillers, right?
Absolutely.
So you're diving in. Can you share a specific example with us where you were able to really coach that resiliency and to see that meaningful impact, that difference?
Absolutely. So there was a time I was going in to work with mid-sized company, about 100 million, right? And they had been at 100 million for 3 years. They've gotten there quickly, but now things are starting to stagnate. And so talk about resiliency to get to that piece.
Yeah.
So my first question was, why do you think that's happening? And I asked each of the leaders separately because I wanted to see if there was a connection or a disconnect. And I realized quickly that I heard about 5 different answers from 6 people.
Right.
So then I brought them all back in. We did a whiteboard session with the leadership team. And I said, each of you, I want you to grab a different color and go write up why you think revenue is now stagnant. And they went up and put their things up. And I said, let's stop for a moment. I want you to look at each other and go, why is this happening? Let's get away from the what. Let's talk about the why. And so at a leadership level, they are literally fixers. And so I said, who wants to go first? Nobody. And what I realized was there was a lack of accountability at the leadership level. They all had great ideas, but no one wanted to stick their neck out and say, oh, my idea and I think it's going to work, because you know why? If it didn't work, it could be career limiting. And so the first thing I had to say was safe space. And it's crazy. Once I said that, and they looked around like, are you serious? We can really? I said, yeah, it stays in that room. And what it turned out is they had a systemic problem with their culture. It wasn't about the education. It was actually a lack of collaboration, coordination, and orchestration. And so they were trying to go directly from A to Z, and they skipped every other alphabet.
So I love this example because the other thing that is underlying this example, or this story that you're able to share with us, this experience you're able to share with us, is you can't go it alone. You have to have your support systems. You have to have your team in place. And I'd love for you to share how you think of that and how you develop and encourage others to be developing those support systems.
The key piece, and people always want to think about ecosystems. It's not about ecosystems. And it's not even about connections. It's literally about connecting. And so it's, let's get together and say we are on common ground and understand and agree, first of all, on what that means, because I think a lot of it is lost in translation. And the next piece is, again, back to accountability. Who literally owns what? Where are the handoffs? And why do we have these silos? What have you tried and not tried? What do you never want to do again? And how open are you really to change? Or are you just saying that you want change? Right? And so once we get past that and we find out it's literally change, now it's, I want to be an advisor to you. I'm not here to try to fix your company. I'm not here to change who you are. What I'm trying to do is show you some best practices. And because my company works horizontally and I work horizontally, everybody has the same problems. They just call it something different. And once, as I said earlier, once I trust you, I will engage you. Once I engage with you, now we can collaborate together. And so when you say, I'm on the same team as you, I just got a couple of different plays that you may not have tried.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so speaking of a couple of plays you haven't tried, here we are at Sales 3.0. Tell me, what is your biggest takeaway and why should we be here when we're in the sales profession?
Absolutely. And I love this. This is probably my 12th of these doing it, right? Virtually in San Francisco here, Vegas, et cetera. The reason I come to these is quite simple. One, finding the best of the best. Secondly, being a perpetual learner, always something new to learn, right? And it's on the edge of where we're going. Not just technology, but also from that collaboration I was talking about. You get the best of folks here, even out to, and there's a lot of awards being handed out, a lot of kudos. What I love is you're actually winning those from the enablement community, which means the world. And then not only that, but now you get a chance to mix and mingle with folks from just a plethora of different industries, from different company sizes, and at different levels.
Right.
And sometimes it's about commiseration at dinner, and I've had those, and you need those sometimes. Hey, I don't have anyone to go to talk about fill in the blank. How do I get this? How do you guys do this? What didn't work as well?
And why it didn't work,
Why
right?
it
That's
didn't
so
work.
powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when people start asking, what are the conferences you should be going to? I say, okay, these are where you should go. This is the one you have to go to.
Roderick, thank you so much for joining us on Selling Power TV.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
And that's a wrap. I'm Tricia Benn, CEO of C-Suite Network, your host of Selling Power TV. What an incredible set of conversations with the world's best experts in sales at Sales 3.0 with Selling Power.